A meteor strikes a small town and creates an uninhabitable environment, threatening life as we know it. Welcome back to Movies Explained. Today's film is a sci-fi thriller from 2021 titled Risen. In an old video, a commander from the US Air Force talks about how they're trying to understand UFOs, which are strange objects in the sky that people can't explain. He tells reporters that their investigations aren't about secret projects, as some people think. One of the officers even wrote a book about it and says we shouldn't ignore the idea of aliens existing. In a little Pennsylvania town, a family sits down for dinner when suddenly the house shakes, and there's a massive explosion outside. The power goes out, and the family gets knocked unconscious. When they wake up, they start hearing strange noises and get really sick. One after another, each family member dies, leaving only the youngest girl, who hides in a cupboard. Nobel Prize winner and former NASA scientist Lauren is at home after being arrested for drunk driving. She takes medicine for depression, but still drinks alcohol. Tonight, she watches the news and hears about the explosion, which has no clear cause yet. A reporter says nobody survived, and the air is toxic, so the area is closed off. Later, soldiers come to Lauren's place and force her to go to the explosion site, because they need her knowledge. They threaten her if she refuses. When Lauren arrives, she meets an astrobiologist named David and Colonel Emmerich, who tells them that a meteorite caused the explosion and toxic gas by dissolving into the ground. He wants them to investigate and find a solution. Wearing hazmat suits, they're taken by bus to the crash site. David finds it uninteresting, but Lauren spots a small red plant in the crater. She's intrigued but doesn't mention it in her report. In the evening, Lauren can't stop thinking about the strange plant she found at the meteorite crash site. She searches online and discovers a video about a similar incident in Russia. Something fell to Earth, and the area was closed due to toxic air. A person with military connections reveals that it was a seed that caused a deadly tree to grow, wiping out everything nearby. The Russian government kept it secret and silenced those who knew. Citizens shared photos and theories about the barricaded town and nearby evacuations. Eventually, the town was destroyed. The next day, 2 doctors prepared to perform an autopsy on Rob, the father. However, they notice his skin looks surprisingly normal for a dead person, and he lacks the usual stiffness. As they start the incision, a strange glowing liquid oozes out, then quickly disappears as the wound heals itself. Suddenly, Rob sits up, causing one doctor to run away in fear, while the other tries to communicate with him to no avail. They realize Rob has no blood pressure, and his body is cold. Simultaneously, everyone's phones ring, and they witness employees rushing down the corridor. Investigating, they find some of the dead from the toxic town are now standing upright. Rumors quickly spread, and numerous reporters gathered outside the facility, discussing various theories and the reactions of religious groups to the events. Lauren is struggling, but she declines any assistance from David. The doctors attempt to elicit reactions from the reanimated individuals by showing them pictures of their families, but they remain unresponsive. Through testing, they speculate that only 49 out of the 1,300 deceased individuals have been revived, likely due to their close proximity to the meteorite crash. They breathed in the toxic air and absorbed particles from the meteorite, which seem to be altering their internal organs. Occasionally, these revived individuals move abruptly, but it's merely to face a different direction. When Lauren talks to Emmerich, she brings up the Russian incident, suggesting it might be related, but Emmerich is skeptical because she got her information from the dark web. Later, at a White House meeting, a comprehensive report is given on the reanimated people. They lack a heartbeat and brain activity, and they don't eat, sleep, or breathe. Their organs contain unfamiliar substances, and their DNA seems mutated, likely into a different form of life, possibly alien. The same unusual DNA sequence is found in every victim, suggesting it's not random. A military leader suggests burning the bodies, but Lauren raises her theory about the Russian incident, suggesting they might be under threat. She warns that if they don't find answers, a larger city could be at risk. However, because her evidence is only from internet pictures that could be altered, she isn't taken seriously. Despite this, the president decides against burning the bodies and orders further study. The situation worsens Lauren's depression, and she finds solace in alcohol, reminiscing about her childhood while alone in her car. When Lauren was younger, her father took her to a secret place and told her to keep it from everyone, even her mom. However, her memory stops there due to amnesia, which deeply upsets her. To cope, Lauren mixes her medication with alcohol. Later, she returns to the facility, where doctors permit relatives to speak to the reanimated bodies, but there's no response. Seeking answers, Lauren goes to the room with the reanimated bodies and shares her favorite childhood book with a little girl. She also opens up about her mother's death, confessing that she never cried. At that moment, as Lauren answers the call from David, the girl beside her notices the picture of the crater plant on Lauren's phone wallpaper and suddenly grabs Lauren's arm in a moment of reaction. This prompts Lauren to immediately share the discovery with Emmerich and David. They realize that the reanimated bodies always face north, where the crater is located. However, their discussion is interrupted when a soldier reports a leak of information, and news outlets start showing pictures of a massive tree-like structure that emerged from the crater in just 2 days. Safely containing Rob in a secure box, the scientists fly to the crash site to investigate the peculiar tree, which is responsible for making the area toxic. The group positions Rob in front of the tree, and after a tense wait, he suddenly gasps and opens his eyes, which are now shining bright blue. He looks around as if seeing everything for the first time: his hands, the tree, the snow. Lauren assumes he's now an alien and welcomes him to Earth. Rob clarifies that he can't accompany the team because he can't survive in Earth's normal environment anymore. Later, during a press conference, Lauren compares the tree's importance to these aliens to how Earth's plants provide oxygen for humans, emphasizing its role as life-giving for them. The current idea is that aliens come to Earth through wormholes. Certain reporters try to shift the conversation by asking Lauren about her arrest, which a mysterious man sees on TV. Later, at home, Lauren listens to a message from her therapist, who's concerned about her missed sessions, which are part of a court order. The therapist also wants to discuss Lauren's recurring dreams about flying. Lauren disregards the message and starts making lunch until she hears a knock on the door. It's her father, Jim. Jim's presence makes Lauren uncomfortable, and she remains quiet while he talks. Jim reminisces about Lauren's childhood, mentioning her fascination with space and how they built a lab for her in the shed. He expresses loneliness and longing for her company, but Lauren avoids his attempts to hug her, and he eventually leaves. Shortly after, Lauren is called back to the toxic area because the alien, Rob, will only speak to her. Once suited up, Lauren sits with Rob, who explains that his home planet became uninhabitable, leading his species to seek a new world. However, the tree they need won't grow elsewhere, and they were given Earth's coordinates by a human named Supernova 94. Supernova 94 sent messages into space in hopes of connecting with the aliens, even providing them with a list of humanity's strengths and weaknesses. While this is happening, scientists attempt to take a sample from the tree. Rob implores Lauren to stop them, but she can't. Lauren clarifies that the tree must be removed soon because it's harming Earth's environment. However, Rob insists that his people will alter the environment. He also discloses his special abilities before taking control of a scientist's body, compelling him to open his hazmat suit. A few guards quickly move to restrain the man, while others encircle Rob, urging him to cease his actions as they escort Lauren away. Rob's eyes darken, and he compels a scientist to break a soldier's mask, leading to rapid infection and eventual death. Seeing this, other soldiers prepare to shoot Rob, but he employs his powers once more. A piercing noise causes excruciating pain, and all lights go out. The agony drives the soldiers mad, prompting them to remove their masks and viciously attack each other without remorse. One by one, the soldiers are fatally injured by bullets or knives from their own comrades. When only one soldier remains, he takes his own life. A truck arrives to collect the bodies and transport the scientists, including Lauren. Meanwhile, the military initiates an assault on the tree, only to find it shielded by a massive force field. The missiles launched against it fail to harm the tree, and the planes are forced to retreat. Shortly after, news outlets begin discussing the force field and the mysterious figure known as Supernova 94. The mysterious man is surprised to hear the name Supernova 94 and searches for an old notebook where he wrote the same word. Later, reporters start documenting odd occurrences worldwide. Some cities hear strange noises, while mysterious fog kills people in certain towns. Martial law is declared in multiple countries, and crops begin dying overnight, worsening the situation. Reports also mention ground vibrations, leading to widespread panic. Meanwhile, Lauren chooses to revisit her childhood home. Although her old lab remains, it's locked. Jim, feeling lonely and deeply depressed, sits in his room, but Lauren opts not to visit him and continues her journey. She grapples with feelings of identity confusion and not belonging anywhere. Despite the impending end of the world, she experiences a strange sense of relief, as if she's being released from her suffering. Finally, Lauren heads back to the alien tree, which is undergoing significant changes. Suddenly, the ground trembles, prompting Lauren to press her ear against the snow, where she hears peculiar sounds. Rob explains that it's the sound of life sprouting. He then discloses that all of this is happening because of Lauren, extending his hand for her to touch. When Lauren takes Rob's hand, her suppressed memories start resurfacing. It turns out Jim used to work for a senator and took Lauren to Area 51. When the grown-ups were busy with their discussions, young Lauren roamed around and accidentally overheard them talking about an alien that had landed on Earth. This extraterrestrial could fly, but couldn't survive in our environment. It turned out the creature was attempting to plant something on Earth. Intrigued, little Lauren ventured further and discovered the alien inside a pod, which she instinctively touched. This contact initiated a process that transferred the alien's consciousness into Lauren's body, altering her DNA and turning her into an alien, similar to what happened to Rob in the present. When little Lauren got back home, she began displaying incredible intelligence. She wrote complex calculations on the wall and even designed a rocket. She kept insisting that she was an alien and wanted to return home, but nobody believed her. Consequently, she became socially awkward and isolated. Eventually, she built a radio and started sending messages to the aliens, adopting the nickname Supernova 94 from her space calendar. When Lauren's mother found out about her activities, she locked up the shed and prohibited her from sending more messages to strangers. Angered, Lauren destroyed her room, writing on the walls, and warned her mother that she would die a horrible death. It was her alien abilities that caused her mother's death. Afterward, Jim allowed government scientists to conduct tests on Lauren, revealing the presence of alien DNA mixed with hers. But he kept this information from her. In the present, Lauren is crying as she recalls her memories when suddenly Rob removes her mask. To her surprise, she can breathe the toxic air due to her mutated DNA. Meanwhile, the mysterious man also recollects his past, revealing he once worked for the CIA. He accidentally intercepted Lauren's messages with his equipment. He attempted to alert his superiors, but they dismissed it as a child playing around. In a forest, a dog chases after strange noises and leads its owner to a large egg-shaped pod that has emerged from the ground, causing the sounds. Soon, similar pods begin appearing worldwide, on beaches, mountains, and even in human-made tunnels. Suddenly, all these pods explode simultaneously, releasing black smoke that spreads across the land, resulting in the deaths of many people. As discussions about aliens spread, a teenager suggests that the pods are linked underground to the main tree responsible for the crop deaths. Over time, Earth becomes uninhabitable for humans as the environment transforms to suit the aliens. One by one, everyone on the planet perishes due to these changes, leaving Lauren as the sole survivor. Thanks for watching, like and subscribe for more videos.